Hello and welcome to episode 58 of 15K Plus Random Movie Reviews, the podcast where we take a random movie from Metacritic's all-time movie list. And today's episode is random movie 4240. It's Groundhog Day from 1993. This is Colin.
This is Niall.
And Groundhog Day has a Metascore of 72 and a user score of 8.5, runs for 1 hour and 41 minutes, had a budget of roughly 14.6 to 30 million, and it brought in a box office of 105 million. Directed by the one and only Harold Ramis, who
Legend.
Yeah, actually I saw today there was a bit of a connection with one of our previous episodes. We reviewed the 1960 something version of Bedazzled, and he directed the 2000 version of Bedazzled.
There we go.
All these connections take place. I read that the movie is based on a script by Danny Rubin, and he's grateful for the movie, but it's not the way he wrote it, basically, from what I read today. He wanted to look at more philosophical tapestry of the story, and Harold Ramis wanted to go comedy. And
well, I agree with Harold on this one, because if you hire somebody like Bill for a movie, it's got to be funny.
True. I think Michael Keaton turned down this role. It's because he couldn't understand the script or something.
And it does feel like very much like a Keaton movie as well. It's similar to, what was it, Multiplicity?
Oh, yeah. Well, Harold Ramis directed that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So it does feel like a Keaton movie. So it would have worked quite well, actually, I think.
Yeah, I think he would have done the whole deer in the headlights, what the hell is happening thing, just like Birdman, you know?
Yeah.
What else? So I think Tom Hanks was. Harold Ramis thought about Tom Hanks first, and then he said, "Nah, he can't do he's too nice. Right. Yeah, he's too nice."
Yeah, like Bill Murray is a perfect asshole.
Yeah, and he's got the ability to ad-lib a lot of lines, stay in the movie, which stayed in the final cut as well.
It's just him being him, really, and that's a wonderful thing at times.
Yeah, unfortunately, it sounds like he's a bit of a jerk in real life. Like he's got a lot
Well, this is why he's able to play himself, be a jerk.
Yeah,
just like Scrooged.
Yeah, it's just kind of sad that he's a jerk in real life. He seems to be a pretty cool person when you scrape the surface, I guess.
What I've heard about him is if he enjoys working with you, he's actually quite nice to you. If he doesn't, he'll let you bloody know. So,
yeah. Well, him and Harold fell out for years after this, and
they did.
I think they only reunited or reconciled shortly before Harold's untimely death in 2016 was it? I can't remember.
Yeah, that's quite some time to hold a grudge. And let's be honest, I think Bill rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way. I believe Harold was a nice bloke, from what I've read about him in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've read about Bill is incredibly funny, great to work with, until he's not great to work with.
Yeah, I think Lucy Liu and Charlie's Angels had a big time Barney with him, and a lot of the other Angels are siding with Lucy Liu on this one. A couple of Me Too things popped up as well in the last few years with Bill. So let's move on swiftly and just think about the movie. Yeah. So obviously, the overall script is Phil Connors, the weatherman, reliving the same day over and over again, which happened to be Groundhog Day.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a sort of general introduction to him as the weatherman, and Rita, his producer at the start of the movie, in the studio. This
is the third time you're going to Punxsutawney? Fourth.
Yeah. So yeah, like in that whole sort of thing, you get him. He's a bit of a, I don't know, card, as you'd say. Like he's a bit of
a prima donna as well to go with,
as Larry keeps saying, prima donna, prima donnas. Yeah, and you get a sense that Rita's this sort of, nice spirit, nice person. She's messing around with the green screen in the studio, and she's just kind of like, I don't know, shy, naive, maybe. Yeah, the opposite of Phil, basically.
Jaded a-hole.
Yeah, exactly. So that's sort of a very short sort of introduction to the characters, and Larry, of course, is the downtrodden cameraman and sort of being commanded around by Phil a lot during the movie. Apart from the times when Phil is nice Phil, when during the many iterations of Groundhog Day, we go obviously into the famous Weatherman song, which I I think it's a catchy song, but it's kind of weird. It sounds like a desert island Caribbean tune that Harold Ramis actually wrote himself along with the music guy.
Indeed, I was quite surprised that the credits came up.
Yeah.
An interesting choice for a director to write a song for his movie.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a kind of an upbeat tempo song, which doesn't really strike a chord of cold February in Punxsutawney.
No,
but it's kind of nice. I think I couldn't help but notice Larry mentioning the swallows of Capistrano, because that's a Dumb and Dumber quote that either Harry or Lloyd says about something about going to Aspen, where the swans of Capistrano flock or something. It just kind of stood out to me. I think in the van as well, we still sort of get another sort of evolvement of the sort of exposition of the characters that Phil, Rita, and Larry are as well. It's sort of, Phil is pessimistic, sarcastic, down with happiness sort of guy. I don't know what else is to say about him.
Yeah, whereas Rita is very glass is half full, and is very much looking forward to meeting Punxsutawney Phil, as opposed to Phil Connors, who's absolutely not. And Larry just sees it as it is and thinks Phil's an a-hole.
Yeah, prima donnas. So obviously he gets a B&B and they get a hotel, and the first iteration comes around. Sonny and Cher plays "I Got You, Babe." The famous clock radio turns from 5:59 to 6.
5:59, such an iconic scene. It plays over and over again. And the first time I seen it, watching this movie, I'm just like, yes, that's just lovely.
Yeah, it's such a strong motif, and it just really is a good marker.
It's etched into my brain.
Yeah,
really
along with the song.
Yeah. And I imagine if you'd done the 11,000 Days like Phil Connors, it would be etched into your brain as well too.
Yeah. So there's 4 characters that sort of we get to see more often than now. We have Guy in Hallway, off to see the groundhog.
Yeah.
We have Mrs. Lancaster.
Yeah, she gets some action later on.
Yeah, we have Homeless Guy.
Poor homeless guy.
And then we have Needle Nose Ned. Ned Ryerson.
Ned Ryerson! Bing!
Don't tell me you don't remember me, because I sure as heck fire remember you.
I dated your sister. Oh, you told me not to.
He was at the start though. Phil is like, he says something. Ned he goes, I think he says like, "You remember me" or something, and Phil is like, "Not a chance."
That's great. It's such a fantastic scene in that it's beautifully obnoxious, and how it evolves, which we can talk about later, is just golden.
Yeah. There's different iterations of that meeting scene, which goes many different ways.
I think that's the one iteration that keeps, or the one that keeps iterating, that keeps stuck in my head more, because it's just how he evolves his interactions with Ned.
Yeah, I think
kind of defines how the movie goes.
It's the best one. I think Stephen Tobolowsky is a great actor, and I think
so good.
I think I read he nailed the rehearsal, and he got it from day one. And I think the last scene when Rita goes, "Oh, let's not ruin it," he wrote those. He wrote that last. He lists off all the insurances at the end, and he wrote that himself. I think Stephen did. So
there you go.
Yeah, I think he really loves the character, and he's a very talented actor.
That's it. That's how you get hired, doing the director's job for him.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, we need another scene. All right, I'll write it for you. Cool beans. And so the guy in the hallway, I think it's twice you see him, but I like him.
Yeah,
he's kind of cool. because of the way Phil interacts with him. And then obviously Mrs. Lancaster has more scenes where Bill or Phil is going through a couple of different iterations of himself.
There's no hot water. Well, there wouldn't be today.
Yeah, of course.
Wonderful.
Oh yeah, and obviously at the end of Ned Ryerson's scene, watch out for that first step.
It's a doozy.
Yeah, but when he goes into the Gobbler's Knob,
Hey,
that music is stuck in my head too. Strike up the music, that band has begun. I always bang. It's like, you know, those Sound of Music type things. I always bang the table, you know.
Yeah. It's again etched.
Yeah, I love
Absolutely
when
etched into my psyche.
Yeah, I love Rita says something about, oh, they've been up partying since dawn, and Phil goes, yeah, they're hicks, Rita. Yeah.
It's just fantastic. Is there anything better than Bill Murray being an absolute asshole? Unless, obviously, you know, when you're not on the receiving end of it in real life.
In real life, yeah. He definitely... Did you see the latest Ghostbusters movie? Frozen Empire?
I haven't seen. I've seen the second last one.
Yeah, they're both shit.
Yeah,
He's
I watched it because I felt like I had to watch it.
Yeah, true. Like they did Harold Ramis bad as well. They brought him back as a ghost in Afterlife. It was stupid. And then Frozen Empire is just the worst. It's horrendously bad. Bill Murray shows up and he's like he's got 4 or 5 mumbled lines and that's it.
He's there for the money at this point. Yeah. Give me $100,000, I'll be there for 10 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, Groundhog sees a shadow. 6 more weeks of winter, folks.
Yeah, plucked out of the tree by Bill Murray's brother.
That's true. I believe. Yeah. I didn't know that up until maybe, I don't know, a couple of years ago. I didn't know that was his brother.
I didn't know about it until this morning.
Yeah. I think this year they did a bit of a mini reunion, and Bill was there, his brother was there, the guy in the hallway was there. They did a speech in either it was in Woodstock, Illinois, where it's really filmed, or it was Punxsutawney, where it's meant to take place. But anyway, there was a couple of bit part characters there. Who,
was Larry there?
No, Bill. I don't know why Bill showed up. None of the big characters were there. None of the big names were there. A couple I can't remember. I think the waitress maybe was there, or the piano teacher.
Oh yeah. What about Nancy?
Yeah, Nancy maybe it was Nancy. Can't remember. There was a couple of them. Anyway, they try to leave, obviously, and this is obviously they can't leave, and this is how it all begins. I kind of didn't really pick this up. I've watched this movie, I don't know, 10 times perhaps, and over the years. Yeah, I kind of I love the way that Phil honks the horn, and Larry goes, "Hey, nobody touches the van apart from me." And then Phil gets out of the car, the van, and Larry beeps their horn, and Phil jumps and turns back. It's just beautiful. I just love the subtlety of, I can beep the horn, and I just want to piss you off. Yeah,
listen. Larry, played by Chris Elliott, is just fantastic. Like Chris Elliott being rolling shit from the Schitt's Creek TV show.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you've seen that.
I've watched a couple. Yeah,
amazing in it.
Something about Mary. Something about Mary is etched in my mind.
Yes, scratching.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's back to Punxsutawney at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, I do like when Phil.
There's a great line. Sorry, no, it's not in this bit. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun.
That's all right. I just want to say that I really like. It's kind of one of those moments where Phil is stuttering and stammering in the snow. He's going, "Oh, blizzard! Yeah. It's just a couple of flakes."
Yeah, this doesn't exist. I said it wouldn't exist.
Yeah. So I just there's another line. I hate to just come up with lines, and I don't do this. I don't do this for every scene, but I love it when he's on the phone and he's on
Yeah, yeah.
to the thing, and he goes, "Is it snowing in space?" I was like, "Oh,
Satellites? Is it snowing on the
yeah."
satellites?
And then he gets a shovel in the head as the person walks past him. I thought that was very funny. And another scene that's a little bit that I just don't remember is that shovel hitting him in the head. I just was like, "Oh my god, that was funny."
Yeah. On the simple slapstick that works so well.
Yeah. So anyway, we're coming up to the first iteration. He obviously has his cold shower, the first cold shower of his iterations, and obviously he falls. And I was thinking, I wonder did the fall hit his head, and that's why it started off the iterations.
Or maybe there was no iterations. He just banged his head and he's gone insane.
Like JR in Dallas. Or was it Bobby Ewing in the shower?
Bobby Ewing, yeah. It was all a dream.
It's all a dream. I think there was the initial script had an ex-girlfriend of Phil Connor's hexing him, and that's why he had to relive the day over and over again. And
I'm delighted that was taken out.
True, yeah.
The fact that it's mysterious and it's never explained. Good. Everything doesn't need to be explained.
Yeah, true.
I prefer not knowing sometimes.
That's exactly right. When I read it, I was like, no, that's too much. It's too much. And then like another iteration was that the movie started off with him in the iteration, and he was saying he was predicting all these things, and we were, as the audience, meant to question, what the hell? Why does he know all these things? But Harold Ramis did not go with that.
I'm glad he did again not go for that, because while that actually sounds quite interesting, it's a completely different tone.
Yeah, I think so. And maybe
very memento of it almost. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I did. But it sounds like even more like an M. Night Shyamalan movie where it's like you don't understand why anything's going on.
I
And then
see dead people.
I'm repeating the same day.
Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need the big twist.
Yeah.
This movie on its face is quite simple, and that's beautiful for that.
Yeah, it's got a balance. It's more comedy than philosophy, but there's a message, a subtle one that is.
Oh, absolutely, there is, and it's
there.
There's only one real message. I think it's just don't be an a-hole, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, and the perfect right recipe for breaking out of your loop of shit is to help other people and better
and
yourself.
not doing it for yourself.
Yeah, which
is
at the end
he gives up trying to get out of the loop.
Yeah. It says that, or they say that he goes through the 5 stages of death or loss, or
acceptance, and all that.
Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance, and I think
he does. Acceptance is, in fairness, that is kind of what it does, and maybe that's where they come up with the different scenarios, the different iterations, and how he runs them. But
yeah. Anyway, during this,
I just like that simplicity.
Yeah, it's a bit too simplistic because he's an asshole when he spends so many iterations on wooing Rita and like, what's that, bargaining, anger, because he goes through depression when he tries to kill himself 20 times.
I never got the bargaining.
There is no.
I think he's just trying to get laid.
Yeah, he's in his bad Phil moment. And I think that was one of the things. Did you read that today where Bill basically went to Harold, "Oh, what scene is this? Am I good Phil or bad Phil?"
Yeah.
Anyway, the first iteration is you have this eerie kind of music, like stabs during it. Yeah. And he meets the guy in the hallway. Off to see the groundhog? And then he says something. He says something called him pork chop or something. He grabs him. He's like, "What day is this?" or something like that.
It's Groundhog Day. Wasn't that yesterday?
Down to Mrs. Lancaster. Ever have deja vu, Mrs. Lancaster?
No, but I can check the kitchen. I love it.
And he obviously meets... I didn't realize this for like the first couple of times I watched the movie, but obviously the woman he meets in the street is his future piano teacher.
I missed that.
Yeah, I know, right? It's one of these things that I just picked up on maybe 4 or 5 times that I watched it. It's Groundhog Day. We're off to Gobbler's Knob. It's Groundhog Day. So it's got, he goes past the homeless guy. He goes to Ned, and this is when he says, "First shot right out of the box."
Bing.
Bing! Steps in the puddle again because he
Oh
doesn't even
yes,
remember that
first
bit.
one's a doozy.
Yeah. Asks Rita to slap him in the face.
She does.
And I just like the subtlety of he goes on to camera and he goes, "Well, it's Groundhog Day again." I just always like that.
He sticks to the task at hand, but it's he's phased.
Yeah, he's definitely phased. We say he's subtle, sort of. Obviously, it's his first iteration, so it's like I've said the word iteration a lot, but I'm going to keep on saying it.
Got to keep iteration.
Yeah, exactly. So again, he goes to have a cold shower again, and
Yep, he forgets that it's cold because
yeah,
he's an idiot.
he's on the phone to somebody, and he
I
has that
love this.
famous
Is my
line.
favorite line.
Go
Oh,
ahead,
it's so
say
good.
it.
I really want to say it.
Do it.
But what if there is no tomorrow? There wasn't one today. Beautiful.
Perfect. And he does the pencil,
Snappy pencil.
snappy. I did read today that this scene, Harold Ramis couldn't get it right, and the pencil was the sort of simple alternative. He wanted Bill to trash the place and shave his head or something. I don't know.
Oh wow. Okay.
Which would have been a bit dramatic for the first iteration.
Yeah, just break the pencil. He's right. It's simple.
Yeah.
If it's not broken tomorrow, bugger.
Yeah. So second iteration, gets up like a Dracula out of his coffin. Pencil is intact again.
I got you, babe.
Ignores everybody.
Yep.
Shoves Ned.
Stands in the puddle.
Stands in the puddle. Has a talk with Rita in the diner.
Rita's taking this. She's like, nah, you need to see a doctor. Either you're bullshitting me or you're going mental.
Yeah, he basically tells her everything, and he's on the edge of, am I going insane? Because this is
it's a
horrendous.
fair question at this point.
Yeah. Phil like the groundhog? Yeah, like the groundhog, Phil. Morons, your bus is leaving. I just love those two lines. So he goes to see Dr. Harold Ramis, and he's like going, nope, see nothing. Psychiatrist. Well, I can see you tomorrow.
Starts punching himself in the face.
Punching the cushion, yeah.
Great.
So there's the bowling alley scene where he's with, I think it's Fred and Gus, maybe. Or no, it's not Fred. I think it's Gus and somebody.
Gus and somebody,
drunks.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But not Gus says, well, you can do whatever you want. There's no consequences. You just wake up the next day, right? And he's like,
And there you go. Yeah. So
wait a second.
I read there was so many scenes cut where he bowled the perfect game, and that's why he was in the bowling alley or something. But that wouldn't work with this timeline, That wouldn't work. That would work maybe after.
Yeah, maybe a
couple
few
of dozen. Yeah. So this is obviously the scene where he drives on the railroad tracks and. Can we have
not playing by the rules anymore, man.
Yeah, clean your room. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't drive down the railway track.
That's one I agree with, Phil.
Oh, no, it's okay. I'm pretty sure he's going to swear first.
Yeah.
No, it's a train. He drives off the train track and smashes into a bunch of cars then, and he's surrounded by a bunch of cops. Well, he's chased by cops. Sorry, I missed that completely. But what I love is when he crashes the car, he rolls down the window. I love 2 fries, 3 cheeseburgers, and but then the drunk guy on the other side of the seat goes, flapjacks. Yeah, flapjacks. Don't forget the flapjacks.
Too early for flapjacks?
That's great.
Anyway, so this is an important scene because he goes into prison and he wakes up back in his bed for the third. I read there's 38 iterations you see during this movie, like partial or full or whatever. But
I nerded out on this, and I found a complete geek who estimates the actual amount of iterations to exceed 11,000.
Yeah, because of the piano or something. Because of how to master piano,
ice sculpting, things like that. Skills, and to be that good.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of things that Harold said. I think he was like 4 years or something, or there's something else about 6 months. I think there was one theory that it's 1,000 years or whatever, but
Yeah.
I don't think he would be a sane person after 1,000.
1,000 years, you'd be
Yeah,
bickies.
even 4 years.
You would never get out of the loop.
Even 4 years. Like I'd like to think it's 6 months, but that doesn't explain the
There's
piano.
no way you learn a piano. You don't learn French and Italian.
Right, he's just reiterating those. He's not.
Yeah. Well, to learn French poetry and to be able to recite poetry,
Yeah.
you want to be reasonably decent at it. But I think he gets skilled up in quite a lot of things, which isn't a bad move.
No, it's part of his good Phil sort of moments. But I think after he wakes up from prison, he gets up and he's really jubilant. And this is where his sort of Neanderthal brain kicks in and goes, I can do whatever the hell I want. Yeah.
To be honest, I would do the exact same thing for a while. Just do all this stuff you're not allowed to do.
Yeah, it's a human sort of reaction, I guess, for somebody that's not a perfect human being to start off with. Punches Ned, stops before the puddle.
Yep.
Watches another guy. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't
Snogs Miss Lancaster, don't forget that.
Oh yeah, he comes down and snogs
the
her.
Old lady. Cholesterol be damned in the next scene.
Gorging. I don't worry about anything anymore. And then he's like, I'm going to stay here. It's beginning to grow on me. Then he grills Nancy Taylor to get into her pants, basically.
What school did you go to? What did you have in chemistry? It works pretty much straight away.
So we see another iteration where he's with Nancy and he's like going, oh, Rita. And so it's like interesting. It's like, okay, it's interesting that he went with Nancy, but he's kind of a little bit smitten with Rita. It's just interesting.
Pretty early as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't known Rita all that long, and he's only in a couple of iterations.
True, point, right? Yeah, so it's an interesting one, and near the end as well. I've a little bit of a beef with the plot. How the plot develops.
I have a massive beef with his Rita thing later on, but
we'll
discuss that.
Yeah, we'll discuss
what I'd like to talk about next is nice and easy. Is the bank job? He does where he walks away with gust of wind, car,
dog barks,
seconds, dog barks. He just walks over, picks up a bag of money and walks off again.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Live, Die, Repeat or
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. I don't know which version is which, but I love that movie.
Yeah, it's good.
And this feels very much like that movie was based on the bank truck scene.
I think it is actually. Yeah, I think it was definitely influenced by this movie. But yeah,
and I loved it for that fact.
Yeah, I was surprised I actually liked it so much.
Yeah, it's I'm not going to say in the top 10, but it's in my top 100. I adore it. Like it's a fantastic movie. Anyway, that's a complete segue.
Yeah, it's a funny scene where it's not really. It's sort of. We've skipped ahead a lot of iterations here because he's memorized this whole scenario. Like how many times has he wandered around the town and just.
How many times has he been hit by that car?
Yeah. Gust of wind, dog barks, car. And then we have a throwback to our Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Clint, he's dressed up as Clint in a Mercedes. Obviously, he's used his money to great benefit. It's like fucking Dumb and Dumber just buying a whole bunch of shit from the store with his money.
Why not? You got as many times as you want to do it. So there's no disgrace. There's no shame.
There's a clue to how many times he's been around in this scene. Because because he's in fancy dress. She's in a French maid outfit, and it's not Nancy. I don't know who this woman is.
It's another lady. I couldn't.
Yeah. But she's like going. She says something, and he goes, "It's my favorite film. I've seen it over 100 times."
I know, and this is early on instead of
it's pretty early on. So we've skipped a lot.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah. Well, the sucky thing is, he doesn't have streaming service, so he gets to see whatever's on is in the cinema.
Yeah, so he's probably just So I think this in this first third of his reliving the same day, he's just sort of figuring out what he can do, and obviously, he could be doing a lot more things, but he's gone to see this movie 100 times, over 100. Must be
good.
Heidi 2.
Heidi 2 was it?
Yeah.
That would suck if that was the only movie you had available to you.
Yeah. So we get into this whole this is the start of him being an asshole, basically. So he's in a scene with Rita, and he's, hey, you've got one day to live. What do what would you do? And what do you want in a man? And she lists off every single thing: career, love, marriage, children,
Yeah.
supportive, funny. And he's going, check, check. Loves his
Check.
mother. Wow. Plays an instrument, very important one.
Oh, yeah.
And then this is the entire, so this part of the entire movie is him trying to get with Rita, and he's a jerk. He basically is just grilling her, and we see so many iterations of, can I buy you a drink? Sweet vermouth.
Oh, that's what I buy next time round.
Yeah. What should we drink to? Let's drink to Groundhog. Well, I always drink the world peace.
Iteration
vermouth,
the next.
Yeah.
I drink the world peace.
World peace. And then he's quoting fucking poetry, and I love the way actually when he says world peace, he does a quiet amen at the end of it. It's just I'm guessing that was ad-libbed.
It sounds like it was ad-libbed.
Yeah.
It looks like he cheekily stuck it at the end.
Yeah. Do you think the barman is part of the loop knowledge? Because he shakes his head for
Knowingly.
no reason. No reason whatsoever. It's sort of like the barman in The Shining.
I don't know if he's kind of like the chap at the end of Quantum Leap, who was a barman. In the last episode, which annoyed the crap out of me. And he was knowingly going, no, well, you can get out now, or you can keep leaping. And he was kind of like that. But I don't want to read too much into it, because I think he might have just been realizing that Phil was trying to pick up this lady with all these cheesy one-liners.
I guess, because then my theory went out the window because he shook his head later with Larry trying to pick up Nancy.
Yeah.
So, but I thought,
same thing.
Is he a magical character? Maybe he's God, like Morgan Freeman or something.
Nah, I think the only deity in this is the Groundhog himself.
He's the
he's
magical,
the mastermind behind everything.
Yeah.
The central nexus to this one day.
Central nexus to this iterative loop.
Oh, beautiful.
My God, I find it very funny when he asks Rita, what did you do in college? She goes, 19th century French poetry. And he goes, that's such a waste of time. I mean, for... that must
you're
be
very brave.
You're
to
very
do
brave.
That.
Yeah.
She's obviously not impressed after that line. But the next iteration,
of course, multiple iterations later. Didn't know you spoke French. Oui. Snowman, making a snowman, dancing, snowball fight. This is. He spent so much time trying to get with her.
He starts becoming manic, though.
Very manic, yeah.
In one of the snowball fights, he's starting to lose the plot, because he's lived the same day, exactly the same, over and over again.
Yeah,
like not just doing other stuff. He's been after Rita for I don't know how many iterations.
Yeah,
and he's going bickies.
Yeah, he is for sure. And then she says something. God, this is such a. You can't even plan this day, and he's going. Well, you can. You just need a lot of time. And yes. Then he brings her back home. He's just, I have French poetry. I've got your favorite ice cream.
Just chilling on the windowsill. I don't know how it got there.
Yeah. And then he goes, I love you.
Slap.
And it's just that's the thing though, right? In his perfect day at the end of the movie, where he's a selfless person, he says, I love you again.
Now, and she goes, she's asleep though, doesn't she?
No. She's wide awake, and she goes, I've had a great. Oh, she goes, I'm happy too. But we've seen all the iterations, but this is her first time. She has seen him only people coming up to him going, thanks a lot for saving, blah 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 blah, and there is no. He did better in the iterative moments when he's an asshole to sort of impress her, but near the end, it's a different sort of impression.
It's rather unbelievable that she would feel love for a chap from one day's endeavors.
Yeah, because they didn't really have a lot of conversation before I Love You.
In fairness, he spent the day not being an asshole.
Yeah.
Which, fair enough, but
I would have preferred
her reactions for that one day are unrealistic.
I would have preferred if he didn't say that, and I'd be a lot more happier with the
and there was no
outcome.
romantic outcome at the end of it. Maybe a smile and maybe a sparkle or something, some sort of beginnings of a romance between them, but not where they ended. It's ridiculous, actually. Now, it's a ridiculous movie, but that's a bit too far.
Yeah, I think they could have just tweaked it a bit there.
Now, granted, it's a movie about a guy who has one day that repeats over, I don't know how many thousand times, and that's the bit I find ridiculous. It's probably a statement about my stupidity.
But that's fine, because it's a ridiculous plot, but you have to sew the little bits together so that we don't say, huh? Which we both have. One
crazy concept that you have to accept if you're going to watch the movie.
That's fine. Yeah, it's a crazy concept, but there is a pivotal theme of the
logic
movie.
has to work around that, and that piece doesn't.
No. Let's go back a bit anyway. We can dissect a little bit near the end if we still remember what we said.
Yep.
So listen, he's tried in a evil way, a selfish way, to get with Rita. There's a slap montage that basically says, he's tried it dozens, if not hundreds of times.
This is where he gives up. And
he gives up.
One of my favorite bits is the 5:59 to 6 o'clock.
The slow-mo.
And it's huge. It's an entire screen, and it's slowly dragging down, and it crashes down to 6. And it just pans to him, and he's just broken.
He's broken. So we've gone from selfish Phil into depressed Phil now. There's different... Yeah. If I was more organized, I would have time counters here on the different stages of Phil.
I love the next scene though. It's Jeopardy. And booze.
Yeah, exactly.
What is the Mexico? And they're like, how's he getting all of these?
What is Lake Titicaca? What are the Finger Lakes?
And he's answering them before the questions even asked.
He turns slowly to Mrs. Lancaster before the questions even asked.
And everybody else is just clapping.
I read today that's a thing in Jeopardy when you totally rule over one category. So the category here was lakes or whatever. The audience in Jeopardy, the TV show, gives you a round of applause when a good one when you rule the entire category. So there's a good sort of mirroring here with the people in the front room of the B&B. So we see we see here he's lost it. He's really just bottom. He's like, "You're hypocrites, all of you." And in one of his TV reportings, in a conversation, I think it is with Rita, he goes, "It's going to be cold, grey. It's going to last you the rest of your life."
Yep.
I always like to say that.
Well, I think at this point it's where he decides to go on a road trip.
We have a couple of iterations where which is good, that we see him just going nuts. Like he slams his fist on the clock radio, slams it to the ground.
It always comes back.
And he's going through. We see a couple of clips from his speeches to the camera. He goes, blah, 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 never going to end. He's got to be stopped, and I'm going to stop him.
Yeah. So walks around to the side of the Groundhog truck and jumps in and drives off.
Yeah. And Larry...
Gotta stop him. He's got the Groundhog.
He's good. And Larry's going, pervert.
There's only 2 reasons why a man would steal a groundhog. Pervert.
So he drives off. There's obviously, it's very... Yeah, he got bitten, I think, in this scene where he's got the groundhog
twice,
on the wheel.
Apparently.
Yeah.
He had to get tetanus injections, rabies.
Yeah. And I think he ad-libbed, don't drive angry, because he was squirreling around a bit, if I can bring in another animal into a descriptive sentence. He's groundhogging around a bit. And he drives off a cliff.
Very Thelma and Louise, which I think was a couple of years before this.
Larry goes, he might be okay. Boom. Well,
maybe he's not.
Maybe not now. 6 a.m. comes around again. This is when he realizes, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I can't even kill myself. So we have a lot of suicide montage.
I love he goes down to Miss Lancaster and she's like, "Oh, you like coffee?" And he just ignores her and just picks up the toaster.
Grabs the toaster.
Go upstairs. Sits down in the bat. And then the lights go out downstairs, and Miss Lancaster goes, "Oh,
Yeah, he's It's interesting. We've watched a couple of '90s shows like or '80s, the '80s and '90s, Lethal Weapon and this one, and both the jumping scenes with
yeah."
now with the HD, you can totally tell it's not like Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon, not him jumping.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Bill Murray, not him jumping.
I doubt Bill Murray would jump off a building for a scene.
You never know. You never know. You're going to put it to him.
He's too much of an asshole to get someone else to do it.
So I think he obviously goes through that suicide era of his iterative life in Punxsutawney.
5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, and he has another diner scene where he's going,
"My
God,
a god,
not the god,
immortal." Yeah,
I don't think.
I love the
a
waitress's reaction to it. "I'm immortal," and she goes, "Special today's blueberry muffin," which is a good reaction.
Yeah, I've been shot, stabbed, electrocuted, poisoned, and burned.
Very Rasputin of him.
Yeah, very Rasputin. Yeah, so he then goes through an entire phase with Rita going, "I'll show you everything about the people in this diner," and goes through everybody, tells them who they are, and she's going, "Well,
absolutely everything."
Yeah, and she's going, "Well, what do you know about me?" And he goes, "I know everything about you. You like boats, but not the ocean." It's kind of sweet.
Sweet and creepy, because she doesn't ask him, "How do you get this information?"
True, yeah. When you were young, you hid in a little boathouse thing. It's like, how the fuck do you know that? But it's a lovely line when he says, "When you stand in the snow, you look like an angel." And he delivers it in the way Bill Murray can deliver it in an emotional sort of way,
a heartfelt sort of way, and
it's
actually
not comedic.
Yeah.
He softens himself at that point, and it's always a nice line. I like to hear.
Yeah.
So I think at this stage he just wants to share it with her and just see what her opinion is, and actually conversate with her and try to get somebody else's opinion. He doesn't have any plans anymore at this stage.
Yeah, he's given up making plans. He's not about trying to get into her pants.
Right, and they're in his bedroom, but he's doing nothing to woo her. They're throwing cards into a hat. Oh, and then this is the entire clue to what he's done. It's like, it's going to take forever, and he goes 6 months tops. So, like, at that point, it's 6 months.
So he spent 6 months on that one task, though.
Oh, that's true. It could be, obviously. Yeah, he might have picked it up in year 2 or whatever. Yeah.
So we don't know. It's a minimum 6 months then, and that's one skill. So how long was the piano lesson stuff? How long was the French or Italian or whatever? How much have you learned of that and the poetry crap? And then the ice carving is not something you pick up in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I love the one line when he says, "Gosh, you're an upbeat lady." I don't know what she says, but I always love that line.
It's pretty cheesy. I like it.
Yeah. So she stays the night, and they're fully clothed, and he's reading poems for every mood. And it's 3 a.m. and he's nice Phil, and he says, "I don't deserve someone like you." And we're getting into the nice Phil or meat and bones here of him changing after all he's been through.
Yeah, and
6 a.m. rolls around, and he's corpse-like, basically. Yeah. But he gets up with vigor. He wakes up. I just remember this scene because I made a point of making note of every 6 a.m. intro or transition, and he wakes up corpse-like, empty pillow, but he gets up with vigor. So it's this part of the movie.
I think he enjoyed the previous night, and not by being
a dick,
disingenuous.
And
which is probably the first time he did in his life after I don't know how many iterations of that one day.
Yeah, he went through a phase of being quite an evil fecker.
Yeah.
So we get a whole montage here of him being nice, giving them hobo money, giving coffee to Larry and Rita. Start of his redemption arc, basically. He's reading poetry, he's listening to piano, he says "Buongiorno, signore" to the guy in the hallway. He starts learning how to play the piano. He starts to ice sculpt, or he's
Fastest Jack in Jefferson County, you know.
fastest Jack in Jefferson County. He's learning. Well, not yet. He's learning to play the piano. That happens on the last day.
It's a montage, baby.
Yeah, he gives Ned a hug. He goes through the hobo trying to rescue him, and sometimes
Saves the
people
kid.
just die.
No thanks. There's never a thanks.
You've never thanked me, you little whatever. I read today.
Heinrich's his brother.
Yeah, true. That boy, and during one of the hobo montages, the boy has a broken arm in the back scenery of the hospital.
I missed that because he's fallen out of the bloody tree.
Yeah.
That's a smart little Easter egg.
Yeah, it's a little Easter egg. Yeah, so it is the fastest Jack in Jefferson County. Heimlich maneuver on his brother. And
Mr. Strickland.
It's a piano. He's playing piano at the party. Has a little slow dance with Rita. What do you get up to today? And then everybody comes up thanking him for saving their life, giving them great things, giving them WrestleMania tickets.
Dr. Phil moment.
Dr. Phil. What did you do today? Same old, same old. There's a bachelor auction and Rita pays $339.88. And Larry gets 25 cents.
Yeah, poor Larry. I felt for Larry in this bit.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Larry at all.
Yeah, he gets a bit scratchy at times, but
yeah. Obviously meets Ned. The whole
buys all. Here's the problem with that one scene though, because he's assuming that he'll always repeat today and there's no consequences. He's just bought insurance now and he doesn't want
it. Well, I wonder how many times he just didn't get this last final day entirely perfect.
So maybe the insurance was the key moment.
Yeah, Ned is the entire linchpin of this entire movie.
It's all about Ned Ryerson.
Ned is Satan.
He tormented this man for how many years just so he could get the insurance money. What an asshole. That's my new theory. I love it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. Ned is the nucleus.
Yeah.
Nucleus of the iterative universe.
Asshole.
Needle's Ned the head. And you know what? In the first iteration, even though Phil is an asshole, he doesn't remember him at all. Even when he says, I dated your daughter.
So he's never part of his life?
He's never met him before. He's not part of his life. He's Satan.
Wow, we figured it out, man. All about Ned.
Email Harold Ramis. Oh, shit.
Sure, crap. Yeah, we'll never know.
God damn it. All right. He sculpts a sculpture of her face. I know your face so well, I could sculpt you with my eyes closed. And this is when he says, I love you. And I find it very problematic to steal a sentence from a lot of youngsters these days. I find it very problematic.
I have to agree with these youngsters saying you love somebody. Now, he might do. And in fact, I think he does. She's not going to be in love with him at this point. It's a really bad timing thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I would, if I was a script advisor for Harold that day or for that movie, I'd be going, listen, yeah, we've gone through the journey with Phil. We know he's a good guy near the end.
She has not.
She doesn't.
She knows him mostly as an asshole.
All she has seen is people going up to him going, thanks for fucking changing our tire. Oh, I love you.
Let's get married. Settle down. Okay, because you can if you can fix a tire quick enough. The fastest Jack in Jefferson County.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the biggest problem I have with the movie is that ending, and it could be done without that, because they wake up the next morning.
Let's live
and again, 6 a.m. comes up, and I Got You Babe plays, but you're playing it again, and she reaches over, he pinches her. You stayed. You asked me to stay, so I stayed. I can't even make a collie stay. Today is tomorrow.
Today is tomorrow. But here's the problem with that. Surely, if she's an intelligent woman, which she appears to be, that now it must seem that because it's repeated for him thousands of times, according to him, now it's the next day. Should she not suspect perhaps that never fucking happened? And he was just trying to pick her up?
But he never told her in the last day.
Did he not?
No.
Oh, he didn't. Sorry. Yes, I'm thinking of the other iteration. Yes.
Yeah, so like all she knows is he had a very
Which
chock
makes it
full of
even,
events day.
which still makes it quite unbelievable.
He didn't have enough time to tell her about the Groundhog Day fiasco.
So the difficulty then is her taking his sudden change of character in her stride, and then being okay with him saying the next day, "Let's live here."
Yeah, which for the second last line of the movie, it's very stupidly delivered by Bill, but he brings it back. We'll rent the start, which is another ad lib from him.
That saves it a bit. But
it's very ultra corny.
If we're being logic about it, she should be running away at this point.
Why?
Let's live here. Yeah.
He should be running away. He's fucking got out of there. It should be.
Should be a
place of nightmares for him.
Thinking about this, and I think he's institutionalized after I don't know how many iterations. It's like
he loves everybody, and they don't know anything
what's his
about
face
him.
From the Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
What was the bird guy called?
Brooks.
Brooks. Yeah.
Brooks was here. He couldn't live in the world got itself in a goddamn hurry. I know every line from
busy living,
Shawshank.
Get busy dying.
No, that's not Brooks.
that's our friend Red.
Get busy living, get busy dying. Damn right.
Yeah, and then we're at the end.
Yeah, he says it's the end of a very long day. He's very. Well, he's not very emotional, but he's quite shocked and chuffed and excited and unbelievable that he's out of the.
What you don't see in the next scene is a car comes flying down the street and hits him, and he's dead. No do-overs.
No sequel. Wonder what the opposite of a Groundhog Day would be. Just you waking up and
20 years later, missed all the time. Coma.
Or just reality, basically. Every day is different.
Yeah. Living forever, but everything's different. No, in fact, you're just dead.
Yeah.
That's great. The opposite of Groundhog Day. You just died.
Yeah. So, yes, there we have it. It's Groundhog Day again. So next week we should just replay this episode.
Yep, over 11,000 and something times.
Yeah, that's the end of our podcast.
No,
we'd have to do it again.
We expect all of our listeners to win every episode that is the same.
Yeah. Variety gave it 60 out of 100. The film is inconsistent in tone and pace. Fortunately, the payoff works, bringing some much-needed warmth to the area. Hal Hinson in the Washington Post gave it 90. For once, the audience isn't forced to surrender its intelligence or its healthy cynicism to embrace the film's sunny resolution.
I give it a little bit. Yeah, fair enough.
I try. Just thinking of plot score here. You give me yours first.
I went heavily favorable on the plot here, and not because it's complicated. I don't think it is, but I think it's a very interesting concept, and it was the first time I'd encountered the concept in my life and in cinema. So I give it 4.5. It is a simple concept, but I think it's a really smart one. So I think it deserves high points for that respect.
Yeah, I give it 4. I had 4 down. I was just waiting to see what you said if I wanted to change my mind, but I think 4 is fair.
Oh, 4 is absolutely fair. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like It's a Wonderful Life type movie plot.
A bit like that. Yeah.
So it's not original.
It's A Wonderful Life with a bit of sci-fi twist to it.
Yeah, but I really do enjoy it. It's up there in my top 20
I like
or
about
something.
The plot
I think
is it's something you can think about and you can try and dig into a little bit. There's juice there.
Yeah, and when it's funny, it elicits a smile. It elicits maybe even a small laugh. It's not uproariously funny or guffaw-inducing for me, but not much is these days.
Cynical fecker.
Yeah, but I gave acting 4 as well. I appreciate everybody's approach. I did have it at 3.75, but I'm going to give it 4 because I think everybody's role just pleases me.
I gave it a 4 as well, and it's mostly because I think Bill carries the acting. This he is basically the entire acting of it. Like it's 90% just him, and that's not a terrible thing at all. And the different emotions that he goes through are very well portrayed. And
Yeah,
the asshole level that he can project onto screen is outstanding.
yeah. Music sound brackets track for me. I'm giving 3.75. There's not a lot, but
Ooh.
obviously, I Got You, Babe it drives the movie. The Weatherman intro. Start up the music. The band has begun. And
See,
that as well. But
I went lower. I went substantially lower
yeah,
because I
that's
don't
fine.
particularly like the song "I Got You, Babe" at all for Sonny and Cher. So it kind of annoys me. I think it's fantastically used,
Yeah, it's a good
um,
choice.
and I do love the something polka, the whatever it's called. I do like
Yeah.
that, but that's it. That's all there is to it. There isn't any striking use of sound in this.
No,
So 2.5. I'm probably being a bit negative on the sound,
that's
but I'm going to
fine.
stick with it.
That's fine. I'm mulling over production here, so go ahead with your thoughts.
I slapped down 3. Not like this 3, in my opinion, is a good score. I don't find anything particularly bad with the production. I do like the groundhog scene where he's driving the truck.
Yeah,
But aside from that, it's well done. It's good production, but there's nothing that blows my socks off either.
yeah. I'm going to be substantially higher. I'm going 3.75, just because in a nutshell, everything looks the way it should look, and I just like the interior shots. I like the bread and breakfasts. I like the way everything comes together. I like the radio alarm clock. The way
Smashy. Yeah.
yeah, I just like the way it's
The best production in this, to me, sorry to talk over you there, but it is that one scene where it's the huge clock and it's
yeah.
clicking over from 5:59 to 6. I think that's a great piece of production. That's what stands out to me. The rest of it is good.
Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, that's Groundhog Day. So let's get out of this loop of
Close the
Groundhog
loop,
Day
dude.
and
Stop
get out
being
of
an
here.
asshole.
Yeah, exactly. And let's randomly select our next movie for episode 59, I believe. Yeah, 59. The weeks go by. All right, and we're getting movie number 1282.
Ooh, nice.
And movie number 1282 is a movie called The Deep Blue Sea.
Lots of sharks.
Unfortunately, it's not Deep Blue Sea. There's a "the" on front of it. It's from 2012. It's 1 hour and 38 minutes. The summary is Hester Collier, the wife of a High Court judge, is a free spirit trapped in a passionless marriage. Her encounter with Freddie Page, a troubled former Royal Air Force pilot, throws her life in turmoil as their erotic relationship leaves her emotionally stranded and physically isolated. Nearly abandoned by Freddie, Hester attempts to win him back through a desperate gesture. This only serves to estrange her more from the men in her life and reality itself.
Not reality. I like reality.
Reality's okay. It's got Rachel Weisz,
Oh, yeah.
Tom Hiddleston.
I am quite a fan of Tom Hiddleston's work. He does a good Loki.
Yeah. It's directed by Terence Davies, which I thought was a name I knew, but I'm just looking through his oeuvre here, and I don't know anything from him. But a lot of his movies are rated above 73, actually.
Oh, okay. So he's got chops.
He has a pedigree. Yes. Interesting. Okay, well, I know nothing about it. I'm not really usually interested in marriage movies. Maybe it's like Metroland.
It's one of these talkies, as I like to call it.
Yeah, Metroland 2, as it might be. Yes.
I really hope it's not Metroland 2.
I hope so too.
Unless there's a lot of gurning in it.
Gurning. Best BAFTA for gurning. Okay, so that's fine. That'll be episode 59. Please rate, subscribe, share our podcast, please, if you would so opine. And we'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Ciao.